The rise and fall of the samurai topknot, a symbol of tradition and transformation. Picture yourself in 16th century Japan. A samurai warrior strides through the streets of Edo, his distinctive topknot rising proudly above his head like a black crown. This isn't just a hairstyle, it's a symbol of power, a mark of status, and a reflection of an entire way of life. But why did Japan's most feared warriors choose to wear their hair in such an elaborate fashion? The answer lies in a fascinating blend of practical warfare, social hierarchy, and cultural identity that shaped Japanese society for centuries. Imagine being on a medieval Japanese battlefield. The clash of steel rings through the air as samurai warriors engage in combat. In this chaos of war, every detail of a warrior's appearance needed to serve a purpose. The distinctive topknot we know as Chonmage wasn't born from vanity, it was engineered for survival. The origins of this iconic hairstyle can be traced back to the Warring States period of Japan, when samurai needed to keep their hair out of their faces during battle while wearing their heavyweight helmets, known as kabuto. The solution they developed was as practical as it was distinctive, shaving the crown of the head and pulling the remaining hair into a tight knot. This style allowed the helmet to sit securely and comfortably, while keeping the warrior's vision clear and unobstructed. But what began as a practical solution evolved into something far more significant. In the relative peace of the Edo period, the Chonmage transformed from a battlefield necessity into a powerful social identifier. Every aspect of the hairstyle became coded with meaning. The precise way the hair was oiled, folded, and tied spoke volumes about a samurai's rank and status within their clan. Think of it as a medieval Japanese version of a military uniform's insignia. Just as modern military ranks are displayed on shoulders and collars, a samurai's social standing could be read in the subtle variations of his topknot. A high-ranking samurai might wear his chonmage in a style called the chasen gata, resembling a tea whisk, while lower-ranking warriors maintained simpler styles. What's particularly fascinating is how this hairstyle became so deeply embedded in Japanese society that it transcended its military origins. By the height of the Edo period, the Chonmage had become a complex system of social signaling. Merchants and craftsmen adopted modified versions, creating a visual hierarchy that could be read at a glance by anyone familiar with the code. But there was a darker side to this cultural phenomenon. The maintenance of the Chonmage was incredibly demanding. Samurai were required to visit specialized barbers called tooji, who wielded their tools with the precision of surgeons. The process was often painful, involving hot water, sharp razors, and heavy oils. Young samurai apprentices would endure their first Chonmage styling as a rite of passage, marking their entry into the warrior class. The significance of the Chonmage went beyond mere appearance. It was a constant reminder of a samurai's obligations and responsibilities, the weight of the topknot, the daily maintenance it required, and the discipline needed to maintain it perfectly aligned with the samurai code of Bushido. Every morning, as a warrior prepared his hair, he was literally wearing his commitment to duty on his head. Consider this remarkable detail. Samurai were not permitted to retie their topknots in public or let them become disheveled, even in the most extreme circumstances. There are historical accounts of warriors maintaining perfect chonmage even during earthquakes or fires. This wasn't mere vanity. It was a demonstration of self-control and dignity that lay at the heart of samurai culture. The chonmage also played a crucial role in the complex ritual of seppuku, the samurai's ritual suicide. Before performing this ultimate act of honor, a warrior would retie his topknot with immaculate care, ensuring that even in death, he would maintain the dignity of his station. This grim connection further elevated the chonmage from a mere hairstyle to a profound symbol of the samurai's dedication to their code of honor. As we delve deeper into this story, we'll discover how the Chonmage became a flashpoint in Japan's modernization, and why its eventual disappearance marked the end of an era that had shaped Japanese society for centuries. But first, let's explore the intricate world of the tooji, the specialized barbers who were as much artists as they were craftsmen. and whose skills were so valued that they were often considered essential members of a samurai household. In the bustling streets of Edo period Japan, among the countless shops and houses, stood establishments as important to samurai as any dojo or armory, the tooji barbershops. These weren't your typical barbershops. They were sacred spaces where art, ritual, and social status intersected. The tooji themselves were more than barbers. They were master craftsmen who held the unique privilege of wielding sharp blades near the throats of Japan's warrior elite. Think about that for a moment. In a society where carrying weapons was strictly regulated, these barbers were trusted with razors around the necks of the most powerful warriors in the land. This trust wasn't given lightly. Tooji underwent years of training, not just in haircutting techniques, but in the elaborate etiquette and protocols necessary for serving the warrior class. The process of maintaining a Chonmage was an art form in itself. Each morning, a samurai would visit his tooji for a complex ritual that could take hours. First, the crown of the head was meticulously shaved with a special razor called a karma. The remaining hair was carefully washed, oiled, and folded into the distinctive topknot using a variety of specialized tools. The oil used wasn't just for shine. It was a carefully guarded secret mixture that helped maintain the rigid shape of the topknot throughout the day. But here's something that might surprise you. The tooji served another, more subtle role in samurai society. These barbershops became informal intelligence networks. As they served warriors from different clans and ranks, tooji became privy to countless conversations and rumors. Some historical records suggest that certain tooji served as valuable information sources for their daimyo lords, their barbershops functioning as early warning systems for potential political upheaval. The relationship between a samurai and his tooji was often lifelong. Many warrior families patronized the same barbershop for generations, creating deep bonds of loyalty and trust. This relationship was so important that when a samurai traveled, he would carry letters of introduction to trusted tooji in other cities. These letters were treated with the same gravity as military documents. By the late Edo period, the Chonmage had evolved into increasingly elaborate styles. The simple warrior's topknot had given way to variations that reflected the growing sophistication of urban samurai culture. The sakayaki style, where the sides of the head were shaved in a distinctive pattern, became popular among young samurai, while the more conservative Mitsu-ori style was preferred by older warriors and officials. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the Chonmage culture was its influence on the rest of society. Wealthy merchants, prohibited from wearing samurai-style topknots, created their own variations. The Chonin mage emerged as a distinctive style for the merchant class, while kabuki actors developed the flamboyant maku mage style. Each variation was a subtle commentary on social status and cultural aspirations in a highly stratified society. This proliferation of hairstyles created a visual language that every educated person in Edo period Japan could read. The way a man wore his hair instantly communicated his social class, profession, marital status, and even his age. In many ways, the Chonmage system was Japan's first form of social media, a way of broadcasting identity and status to everyone you met. However, this elaborate system began to show signs of strain as Japan entered the 19th century. The maintenance of these complex hairstyles required significant time and money. Some estimates suggest that a high-ranking samurai might spend up to a quarter of his stipend on hair care alone. This financial burden became increasingly difficult to bear as the samurai class faced economic challenges in the late Edo period. Moreover, the rigid hairstyle requirements began to clash with changing ideas about personal freedom and individual expression. Young samurai, exposed to Western ideas through Dutch trading posts in Nagasaki, started to question the necessity of such elaborate grooming rituals. Some even began to secretly cut their hair short, an act that was considered a serious offense against their lords and could result in severe punishment. The arrival of Commodore Perry's black ships in 1853 set in motion a chain of events that would not only transform Japan, but would spell the end of the Chonmage era. As Japan raced to modernize during the Meiji Restoration, this ancient hairstyle became a powerful symbol of the tension between tradition and progress. In 1871, Emperor Meiji himself made a shocking announcement. He had cut his top knot. This seemingly simple act sent shockwaves through Japanese society. The emperor, considered a living deity, had embraced Western-style short hair. The message was clear. Japan was entering a new era, and the Chonmage was becoming a relic of the past. But not everyone welcomed this change. The story of the hair-cutting rebellion of 1871 illustrates just how deeply the Chonmage was woven into Japanese identity. When the government mandated that police officers cut their top knots, hundreds of officers in the Tohoku region refused. For them, cutting the Chonmage wasn't just changing a hairstyle. It was severing their connection to centuries of tradition and their very identity as warriors. Consider the psychological impact of this transformation. For centuries, samurai had defined themselves through their distinctive hairstyle. Now they were being told to abandon it virtually overnight. Many former samurai described the experience of cutting their top knot as more traumatic than surrendering their swords. One former warrior wrote in his diary, "With each stroke of the scissors, I felt as though I was cutting away not just my hair, but my entire past." The government's push for modernization was relentless. They launched a campaign called Civilization and Enlightenment, Bunmei, which portrayed traditional hairstyles as backward and unhygienic. Western-style haircuts were promoted as modern, practical, and sophisticated. Propaganda posters from the era show before and after images of men transformed from primitive, top-knot-wearing figures to civilized citizens with short hair. Yet there's an ironic twist to this story. Just as the Chonmage was disappearing from daily life, it was being immortalized in art and literature as a symbol of Japan's samurai heritage. Woodblock prints, photographs, and early films captured the last generation of traditional top-knot-wearing warriors, transforming them from commonplace figures into romantic icons of a vanishing age. The speed of this transformation was remarkable. By 1880, barely a decade after Emperor Meiji's haircut, the Chonmage had largely disappeared from Japanese cities. The specialized tooji barbershops either adapted to Western-style haircutting or closed their doors. Centuries of specialized knowledge about traditional hair care and styling began to fade away. But the legacy of the Chonmage lives on in surprising ways. Modern sumo wrestlers still wear a modified version of the top knot, maintaining a living link to this ancient tradition. Their hairstyles, called Chonmage, are maintained by a handful of specialized barbers who preserve techniques that would otherwise be lost to history. The influence of the Chonmage can also be seen in unexpected places. When you see a Japanese businessman adjusting his tie in the mirror, fussing over every detail of his appearance, you're witnessing an echo of the samurai's attention to personal presentation. The cultural emphasis on proper appearance and the importance of visual signals of status, so central to the Chonmage tradition, remains deeply embedded in modern Japanese society. In many ways, the story of the Chonmage mirrors Japan's larger journey into the modern world. It's a tale of how a society can transform itself while still maintaining connections to its past. The top knot may have disappeared from everyday life, but its influence on Japanese culture, the attention to detail, the importance of proper presentation, the complex reading of social signals, continues to shape behavior in subtle ways. The next time you see a samurai character in a movie or video game, look at their top knot with new eyes. It's not just a hairstyle, it's a symbol of an entire social system, a reflection of centuries of tradition, and a reminder of how something as simple as a hairstyle can carry the weight of history. Through the rise and fall of the Chonmage, we can understand something profound about how societies change. Sometimes the most significant transformations come not through grand battles or political declarations, but through intimate personal choices, like the decision to maintain or cut one's hair. In the end, the story of the Chonmage is more than just a footnote in Japanese history. It's a lens through which we can view the eternal dance between tradition and progress, identity and change, the individual and society. Thank you for watching this exploration of one of Japan's most fascinating cultural traditions. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden meanings behind the samurai top knot, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from Japanese history. And let us know in the comments, What other aspects of samurai culture would you like to learn about? Your curiosity drives our content, and we're excited to explore more historical mysteries together.